I keep waiting to make this introduction video until I feel great and until the lighting is perfect, etc. But I decided to just jump in and just see what happens to get this thing going, because they're never, with a concussion, you never know day to day exactly how you're going to be feeling. So I'm just going to jump in here. So this is the introduction video to this channel, kind of outlining what it's all going to be about. So my name is Charlie, and this is all about concussions, also known as post-concussion syndrome or mild or major traumatic brain injuries. And so very briefly, my story is that on June 23rd of 2024, I was in a car accident. I was at a stop sign doing all the lawful things. My foot was on the brake, my turn signal was on, waiting for the intersection to clear, and no one was behind me for like a full 10-second count. And then I was noticing that. I was like, no cars. Wow, there's like really light traffic behind me. And then I noticed motion in the rearview mirror, and I looked up, and I was like, oh, here comes a car now. And I was like, as soon as I had the ability to think, oh God, why are they going so fast? Boom, they hit me. The back of my head hit the headrest, and the back of my head was just like a world of pain. I couldn't move. My guess is probably for like 2 minutes, my whole body was just frozen in place. And I was thinking to myself, like, gosh, why can't I move? This is crazy. And finally, I was able to like start wiggling my fingers, blink my eyes. And I was like, okay, I better go check on the person behind me. I've been an EMT on and off in my life, or at least had EMT training, wilderness first responder training. And so I jumped back to check on the person who was still in their vehicle. And first thing she said to me was, I don't know what just happened. What happened? And anyway, more to that story, but I'll just leave that there. So my head was hurting immediately, and I was like, okay, well, I know from my training, I already know I've got a concussion, but I also figured, because I've had concussions previously in my life, many, many years back, I was like, oh, well, this will be like for most people. I'll just sleep it off and, I'll take some ibuprofen. I'll be feeling fine by this evening or by tomorrow. Instead, I woke up the next morning with double vision and extreme sensitivity to light, especially sunlight, which I came to learn is called photophobia. And so that was June 23rd, 2024, and today is June 6, 2025. It is not June 6, 2025. It is February 6, 2025. So 7 months later, the question is, how could I still have issues from a concussion? If you had told me that anyone had issues from just a concussion received in a seemingly mild car accident, they'd still have symptoms 7 months later, I'd be like, well, that kind of sounds made up, like maybe they aren't trying hard enough. And all I can say is, now that it's me, like, I am a believer, and I'm like, wow, post-concussion syndrome is real. And now at this point, I've been diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury and working on what I can do to get my brain as happy and healthy as it can be under the circumstances. So I've had a headache of some sort every single day for 7 months. I'll be getting into all of my symptoms list sort of later in different episodes, but something I want to talk about during these different episodes, and I've made notes over here. Normally I would not need notes, but like with my concussion, I've noted that when I talk to people, I can stay focused, I can stay engaged. It's very easy when it comes to one-on-one interaction or talking with a group of people. I can stay very good with my executive functioning, but when it comes to like trying to remember what I'm talking about next, or like when I'm studying a topic or something, it's harder for me to grasp. I've got a list of notes over here. All right, so I'll be going over what my symptoms have been, blah, 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 blah. And I will also definitely be talking about the healthcare implications for concussion folks. Because let's say if you, like right now, let's say you turn this off, you're like, God, this guy Charlie, he's so boring. I'm just gonna like turn this video off and go make dinner. So you get up, you walk across the kitchen floor, and you stub your toe on the edge of the kitchen island. And you're like, oh my gosh, I think I just broke my big toe. Or maybe you sprained your ankle. You already know that when you go to your doctor, that eventually you're going to get a prescription to go to physical therapy, right? Like especially if you break your ankle, or let's say you fell and you hurt your wrist. So physical therapy is just part of it. It's going to be covered by insurance if you're lucky enough to have health insurance. But when you have a concussion, that is not the case. You'll have your initial appointment covered when you maybe go to the emergency department. But after that, chances are your insurance is not going to cover the type of thing, because what is physical therapy for a concussion? And what you'll come to learn in future episodes, as long as I can get around to making them, is that answer is very convoluted and complicated in terms of insurance implications, all the different treatments out there. And then also, like if someone breaks their wrist, the treatments are going to be very similar because the situation is similar. A broken wrist is a broken wrist, mostly. But with a concussion, you're talking about the most complicated organ in the human body that we still barely understand, honestly. And so two concussions are not alike ever. And so, you could have another person who is sitting at the same stop sign who is also hit by someone going the same speed, and they will have completely different outcomes than I have had. So it's really an interesting thing if you're kind of fascinated by biology and prognoses and everything. So we'll be talking about that. I do hope to interview other people, again, because my situation is just one situation, but I definitely hope to interview people. And oh my gosh, this is 7.5 minutes long already. I'm so sorry. I hope you're still watching. I'm also going to be charting sort of some of my progress and all the treatments that have worked for me, and where I'm still at in my recovery process. And then I'm also making this channel because I'm sort of doing a big undertaking. I'm taking on a considerable amount of debt because insurance won't cover the treatment that I'm going for. Though I have been under the care of a clinic, I'm going to be going to a more sort of renowned clinic internationally and nationally here in the USA. Different types of treatments, like I said, aren't covered by insurance. This one isn't. So I'm going to be talking about my experience at this clinic. I'll be going there in about 3 weeks. So that's why I'm starting this now, sort of leading up to that. And I'll be doing like updates in terms of what it's like, just to give people a real sense of what's out there, and at least what hopefully will work for me to get me back to where I'd like to be in terms of living day to day without having to struggle through symptoms, struggle through exhaustion. Like this light that I have right here, that is providing this light that I, as a former documentary filmmaker and video editor, I know the video has to be well lit, but like this light is absolutely like lasers in my eyes right now, and it's very painful. And just this little bit of limited exposure to a light that bright, which is a very soft LED light. I got it really a soft light on purpose. Like the effect that has on me is I will have extreme fatigue from the exposure to that light. Just throw out there, that's why I've been unemployed for the last 3 months, is exposure to bright LED light, which most of it is bright LED lights, and even bright fluorescent lights causes extreme fatigue and a whole host of symptoms, losing my balance, my short-term memory starts to get all jacked up. So it's been a pretty crazy experience. So I'm just, I don't know, trying to make this as a support for people who have been through things like this, and then to chart my recovery. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to shut up now. Goodness gracious. 10 minutes, that's not too bad. Okay, that's your intro video.